Hey yo, what it do, what it do? It's your boy Q, and welcome back for some more VCT action over here. We are now through our Swiss, and we're on to playoffs, baby. Yesterday, we got to see our playoff matchups picked. In case you guys missed it, we did the same sort of process as we did in Shanghai. The top teams from each regions had a chance to be able to pick their opponents to start off the playoffs based off of a random drawing. So we do actually have the ability to do pick'ems now with an actual bracket, unlike in Swiss. So you know what? Let's go ahead and get down to it. And let's go and actually start about how these matchups started. It was actually XLG who did get to do their pick'ems first. Or should I say who picked their opponents first. They picked Sentinels. It was RRQ that then had the second pick, and well, they opted to not go off against not to go up against anybody from Pacific. You gotta love the respect there. Imagine if we see all three Pacific teams able to advance to that upper semifinals. That would mean 3 teams from the Pacific guaranteed in the top 6. That'd be pretty wild. Then it was G2 who opted to go against Paper X, and then Fnatic had the final draw, which meant they were stuck with Gen G. It's destiny, baby. So let's go ahead and get down to it. Let's do our pick'ems. Y'all know how I normally do. We're gonna run all the way through the upper bracket, and then we'll run through that lower bracket here as well. Now, I know for my viewers that are back after watching the Swiss predictions, y'all know I definitely very much underrated Sentinels. I had some comments in the last video. Look, I did y'all a favor because every time I root for Sentinels, they always seem to disappoint. However, with the way that Sentinels have been looking, at least on land during international play, I'm going to go ahead and pick them here. So when they lose, don't blame me. Just know I helped y'all out as far as in the Swiss predictions, all right? As far as G2 versus Paper X, man, PRX has been looking really, really good. Sometimes it feels like those teams that come in from the Swiss side of the bracket have that advantage when it comes to playoffs. I don't know if I see it over G2, though. I think G2 comes in with a goal in mind. I think they come in with a game plan. And I think we see 2 NA teams already securing themselves a spot in that top 6. RRQ versus Wolves is definitely interesting. Wolves Esports, another team that I severely underrated during that playoffs, or sorry, during those pick'ems for the Swiss. I keep wanting to call them playoffs. Anyways, RRQ, a team that I have underrated pretty well throughout the entirety of Pacific. I kept waiting for the bottom to fall out. I don't think it falls out here, though. I do think that we're going to see RRQ being able to pull off that one. And I know I had mentioned how we often see where teams coming in off of that Swiss run have the momentum. Well, you'll notice that I'm going to be taking 3 of 4 teams coming from the bye round during the Swiss, going into that top 6. Go ahead and give me Fnatic over Gen G. I think it's going to be a banger matchup. Wouldn't be surprised to see that one go the other way. But I do still believe that the core from Fnatic that has had that experience in the past, now with the run with their new additions to their roster, I think they're going to be the ones that are going to be able to make this run here in the upper bracket. They might even go all the way and win the whole darn thing. For those of y'all who saw my Swiss predictions, y'all know how I feel about them. Let's go ahead and keep going through this upper bracket here. We have an NA matchup in that upper bracket semifinals, Sentinels versus G2. Ooh. If Sentinels get to this point, they are on a run, but of course they have then in turn gotten here, taking down 2 Chinese, now 3 Chinese teams with XLG. I think I've got to favor G2 here. Even though Sentinels would be on quite the run, I really feel like this is G2's event to really turn some heads. I know a lot of people are going to be expecting them to have a good performance, but I think the big thing for them right now is continuing to show consistency. And I think some people are expecting that bottom to fall out. They're expecting to see that upset at some point. I think G2 just doesn't allow it. I think they get in that upper bracket final. RRQ versus Fnatic is an interesting one because, again, RRQ I feel like is a team that a lot of people didn't really have a lot of expectations of heading into the season, let alone playoffs, let alone getting into the playoffs of Toronto without having to play through Swiss. They take down a Wolves team that I do feel like they should beat. I feel like they go into this upper bracket semifinal matchup as the underdog. But as I mentioned before, I'm riding with Fnatic. Give me Fnatic and G2 Esports in that upper bracket final, which is where things do get interesting because I think both of these teams pack a heck of a punch. Two teams that I did put in my top 3, really in my top 2. I said that these are the 2 teams during my Swiss predictions, or not my Swiss predictions, but during my tier list heading into Swiss that I kind of had as my 1 and 2 going into the event. I think Fnatic takes it here. But I wouldn't be surprised if this is one of those that goes the distance. We get ourselves 2, 3, maybe even a 4th overtime. That is best of 5, right? No, it's going to be a best of 3. So give me 3 overtimes. So let's go ahead and run through that lower bracket here then. XLG, it's kind of crazy to see 2 Chinese versus Pacific matchups. Kind of crazy the way that works. Let's get down to it. XLG versus PRX. Do I think XLG comes in as the number 1 seed from China and then goes out into straight series? Those of y'all who did watch my tier list, I said I think that China would have their best performance to date. Looking at the way these brackets are winding up, I don't know if that's quite going to be the case because I do think I got to ride with Paper X here over XLG, which gives us an interesting Pacific matchup there in that lower round 2 with PRX and RRQ. Wolves and Gen G, however. Oof. Honestly, I know I mentioned before that I thought China was going to have a great performance. Sometimes the draw is just the way the draw goes. I don't know if I can take Wolves Esports over Gen G. I know I technically had them out early and they've already upset and they have exceeded my expectations. But I just feel like Gen G is a different beast than what we've seen from Wolves face thus far. For that reason, I do think we're going to have to put Gen G into that next round. Funny enough, against Sentinels, who also very much overperformed my expectations, what I had going into Toronto. Although, I do have to say, I think we're late enough into this video. Yeah, late enough into this video that I can admit, you know, as far as my Sentinels pick in the last video, I always feel like there is a pretty big upset, someone that you don't expect to go 0-2. I had my faith in Sentinels, that being them. Or I shouldn't say my faith, but I had a feeling it was going to be them. I did also mention at one point that loser of the PRX Team Heretic series had a potential of going out 0-2. It ended up being Team Heretic, so I guess I was kind of right on that one. Sentinels over Gen G here, though, when we talk about lower round 2. You know what? Go ahead and give me Sentinels securing in their spot for top 4. RRQ versus PRX is definitely interesting, however, because I feel like PRX is a team that we saw did not have very much success during the regular season for VCT Pacific. Still, I don't think have quite met their potential during the VCT playoffs, but they have shown the ability to be very disruptive at times with their aggressive and fast play style. However, we also have seen, we saw them in their last series almost fumble the bag. Whereas for RRQ, I feel like they have shown at least some consistency for a newer roster. They lose to Fnatic. Wouldn't be surprised to see them lose to PRX, but you know what? Go ahead and give me RRQ also locking in that top 4. So that gives us G2, Fnatic, RRQ, and Sentinels. Ironically enough, 2 NA, 1 Pacific, 1 EMEA, no Chinese teams. After I had said during my tier list that I thought China would have their best performance to date. It happens, I guess. As far as moving forward in this lower bracket, RRQ versus Sentinels. This is weird. Because I gotta favor Sentinels here, right? I feel like Sentinels have tested their mettle against a stronger base of opponents over the course of the season. Remember, RRQ was in the non-group of death in VCT Pacific and still only went 3-2. I think after all of the hate, I got to roll with Sentinels getting into top 3. I don't see them advancing past G2, however, and I do know how hard it is to typically repeat, especially at a case like this at top 8. Often we don't see it happen, but give me G2 over Sentinels to give us a Fnatic G2 brand final. I really want to put NA on top. I do. I would love to see G2 hoist a trophy here. But I did initially say heading into VCT Masters here in Toronto that I thought Fnatic were the favorites. Do I still stick with my gut is the question. I think the answer to that is indeed yes. So give me Fnatic in a banger of a series over G2. So our top four then, Fnatic, G2, Sentinels, RRQ, with PaperX and Gen G in that 5-6 spot, XLG and Wolves Esports in that 7-8 spots. I'm feeling pretty confident here. Matter of fact, I'm going to see y'all show me, and I'm going to submit them picks right now for my good old VLR account. I think we're going to roll with that. Go ahead and check that out right there up at the top. Let me know where you think I'm right, where you think I'm wrong. Y'all know I love to respond to the comments down below and have some good, very civil conversations, right? But I do appreciate y'all coming in and checking out the video, man. If y'all have enjoyed the vibes and you haven't already done so, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Hit that notification bell as well. We do a lot of not only just VCT, we talk some ALGS, RLCS, do some other esports here and there as well. We're here in the summer now. I'm through my casting sort of heavy part of the year since I do a lot of scholastic and collegiate work. So I'm hoping to get some more content like this going heading into our next stage as well. Of course, we have RLCS major coming up at the end of the month too. So if you guys are esports fans and y'all enjoy the vibe, I'd really appreciate it, man. But until we do get to catch y'all back for that next one, don't forget, with everything crazy going on in the world today, be true, be you, be sincere, game hard and love hard. All right, y'all? It's your boy Q. Signing out.